I once had a woman complain about lines on Black Friday and sit on the floor in protest. Retailer workers of Reddit, what is your best/worst Black Friday story? This is a rather old thread, because I saw that a lot of channels had covered the newer ones to death already. A few years ago you could add text to your AskReddit thread, now you can only post a title. So the first story is from the thread creator Monklin. I worked as a supervisor at Toys R Us for several years. On Black Friday, we opened at midnight, and you basically hug the wall and hope you don't get crushed, so you are stuck in the same spot for hours. This grown woman was about 500th in the first wave. She told me the lines were too long. I told her that's what happens on Black Friday. She said we should make them shorter. It hurt my brain, but I explained that every register was open. She said she wanted to go to the front. I told her that everyone does, and that's why we have a line. She asked to see my manager. I told her that isn't possible, because there were over 2,000 people in the store. She threw a tantrum, and sat on the floor in the middle of the line. Whenever the line moved, she would push her cart and crawl after it, then resume sitting on the floor with her arms crossed. That said, everyone who has worked retail today has seen the worst humanity has to offer. I'd like to hear your best. Worked for a small and independent video game store. We had a great rapport with the regulars. On Black Friday we were out of PS2's launch year, early in the morning. People were angry. A cool as ice regular who bought one earlier and came back for a memory card walked on in. Saw what was happening, grabbed the PS2 box out of his car, walked in with it held above his head and shouted, "They have them at Sears." The store cleared out of everyone wanting just the core system. Sears never got their shipment. Working at a mall on Black Friday as a teenager, my store manager scheduled 2 people to man the store until 11 AM. Came in and wondered why the store was a mess with a line wrapped around the store. My co-worker stood on the counter and announced to the store that this man was the genius that only scheduled 2 people because in his words Black Friday is just media hype. We were also robbed blind, what with not being able to leave the registers. A lady called 911 because we wouldn't price match with Best Buy. The police came and arrested her for misusing the emergency service. Was working at a clothing store and we were slammed all day. A customer overheard my manager say I couldn't take lunch and to work through it. She came back with sandwiches for me and my co-workers, plus drinks. Today, one of our male customers hit another male customer upside the head with a crock pot. What were they fighting over? The crock pot. Both customers had to be dragged out of the store by the police. Even though I worked at Walmart for almost 11 years, I somehow avoided the worst of the Black Friday crowds. Still, here are some highlights. Cart stealing, every damn year. Never put a doorbuster item in your cart and turn your back. Cops arresting someone for stealing a cart with a woman's purse in it. Layaway lines that stretched almost 3/4 of the perimeter of the store. People would try to sneak into line and nearly get beaten by the people behind them. Customers asking electronics associates if they'll watch their kids so they can shop. Happened more than once. Multiple workers reduced to tears by customers literally screaming at them, including a poor 18-year-old girl that was called an ignorant whore because the store ran out of Game Boys. More than one of these people were thrown out of the store. A guy that bought 2 Tickle Me Elmo dolls, then waited until the store was sold out. He stood in the parking lot trying to sell it for like $300. His 10 or 11-year-old stood just behind him holding a bat, just in case. By far the best was 3 grandmothers getting into a literal fist fight over the last Furby. A full-on brawl, rolling around on the floor, kicking and punching. Nobody knew what to do. It took 2 women and a manager to pull them apart. It was the most screwed up thing I've ever seen. I worked in home theater at a Best Buy in Southern California in 2006. We had this really shitty Pioneer home theater in a box that retailed normally for $200. It was on sale for $150. We had literally 500 in stock. They were everywhere, in every aisle of home theater, in the overstock, warehouse, floor shelves, overhead storage, everywhere. We had a few pallets on the racetrack that we would keep stocked as best we could throughout the day. Well, as happens on Black Friday, we got busy and the pile dwindled, so there was only one on the pallets. Never mind that anyone with eyes can see we have hundreds more around. Only one on the pallet, must be the last one in the store. Well, this lady grabs it and puts it in her cart. Some guy was clearly moving for it but was beat. Lady is oblivious. So she turns down a movie aisle and proceeds to look through one of the bins filled with random $2.99 DVDs. The dude sneaks up behind her and lifts the home theater in a box off her cart and starts to walk off. He gets about 10 feet before this very large older man, early 50s I'd guess, says, "No you don't," and delivers him a square punch, more of a jab really, in the jaw. The would-be thief falls into one of the DVD shelves and drops the home theater system. The older guy then picks it up, puts it back on the lady's cart, she's still oblivious, and walks away. As the thief, who was clearly shocked and confused more than injured, stands up, he sees me and my co-worker staring at him bewildered, each holding more of the home theater units he was trying to steal in our arms as we were just restocking the pallet. The guy stands up, walks over, grabs one, and walks away without saying a word. That was about the best I've ever seen. I worked 4 Black Fridays in all, and never saw anything more bizarre and outrageous than that. I was in a Kmart back in 2010 for Black Friday in Staten Island when this old lady, 70s plus, started screaming and berating me for having 2 Elmo dolls in my cart. I mean, she went off on me and even tried to take one out of my cart. I didn't even want the stupid dolls. They were for my husband's best friend who was buying them for his kids. We decided to divide and conquer, so while he was in Best Buy getting us stuff, we braved Kmart for his things. Holy shit. A deal just brings out the beast in people. I could have given her one and just told our friend that's all was left, but some not very nice words. Not retail, but I used to work at a local pizza and beer place that's pretty well known around my city. A lady comes in for lunch, exhausted from having been at the stores and completely incapable of going more than 5 seconds without telling anyone within earshot how dedicated to shopping she was and how much money she was saving. She proceeds to ask me what our Black Friday specials were. Well, we are a pizza shop. We did have a lunch special every day, so I told her what it was. This was apparently too much for her to handle. She proceeds to lose her freaking mind, shrieking at me about how she has been up since before dawn and everyone else in America has a Black Friday special, so why don't we? I don't think the South Park episode had aired yet, but she ended her rant with, "I thought I was in America. I'm still in America, right?" That was the second customer I ever told to F off while working at that establishment. That was also the 1000th time I realized that, while working in restaurants can be awful, at least I wasn't working retail. Similar to the original post about the woman sitting down. Had someone throw all of their items to the ground because of the weight. Other customers quickly picked up the sale items and the customer was not missed. Also had some Red Bull reps show up. A case of Red Bull for everyone at the store made the day more bearable. In my store, we had a line set up, going from when you enter the store you enter the line, which is near the entrance, and then this line will span all over the store, so you will be able to pick up any item without leaving the line. A woman stormed into the shop with an empty shopping cart and her 2 small children. She pushed through the line with the huge cart, elbowing everyone to the side so her and her children could get past. She went to the electronics section and picked up about 50 DVDs. Then pushed to the last register, which was quite hard to reach, since you had to push through 8 different lines, and then just stood there and waited. She waited until someone was not paying attention enough, and then quickly just took the spot and put her stuff on the register. We had a 16-year-old boy in said register, and he had to tell her that this was not the way things worked. She demanded to talk to a manager. So one of our managers came over and explained to her what she did wrong. She explained that she thought the line was too long, so she took the spot because the guy behind her was not paying attention enough and she didn't want to wait in the line. Our manager told her to either get back in the line or out of the store, and then she slapped him. Yes, she open-handed slapped him. I got a little angry even hearing this, but he retaliated and slapped her back. She screamed and called for security. The security laughed at her after the members of the line backed our manager up and she and her kids was escorted out the store. I should also mention it took quite some physical force to actually get this woman out of the store. She tried coming back in doing the same thing at another register. Twice. My one Black Friday at Best Buy was nothing special, but I did learn something about people and herd mentality. This would have been 2004, and portable DVD players were a big thing that year as they were just getting cheap enough to be a, "Oh, I could use one of those" kind of buy. Anyway, BB had a cheap portable DVD on sale and my store had 2 skids of the things right in the middle of the aisle from the front door to the home theater department. Impossible to miss. Behind the skids was another skid of carrying cases. My manager walked me over to it and said, "Okay, Welchbelt." I'm keeping that pronunciation because it's hilarious. Welchbelt. Your job is to just stand here and hand a case to everyone who take a DVD player. Don't ask if they want it, just give it to them. Now, note that the cases were not on sale. My shift that morning was opening 4 AM to 8 AM. I did that, and only that, all morning. No one ever turned me down. People probably dropped $5,000 that morning because some seasonal guy handed them something and said, "You'll need this too." I had this happen today. Where I work we're open at 9 PM Thanksgiving Day and don't close until 11 PM Black Friday. I was line queer, which means I direct people to the end of the line and let people go to the register when it is empty. We only have one register in electronics. A woman stood behind the person at the register and my line was already 200 long, so I went up to her and said, "If you're ready to check out, our electronics line actually starts back here." Her reply, "So, I want to check out now." "I understand, ma'am. Everyone else here wants to check out as well, and the people you would be cutting in front of have been waiting for an hour plus. Open more registers then." All of our registers are open, including our pharmacy. There are over 1,500 people in the store right now, and we are moving as fast as we can. It continued for a good 5 minutes until she rammed her cart into my stomach and stormed out. People are so stupid. That's it for today. Thank Nalini Care for suggesting this topic. It was a lot of fun going through all the different threads. Take care of each other in the comments and I'll see you all tomorrow.